Welcome to video number 2 of building your automated AI assistant. After we have finished all the groundwork with the installation of the technology stack, we will continue in this video and build a small working version of our automated AI assistant. So at the end of this video, we will have a basic AI assistant up and running that will know about our tasks, our appointments, and that is able to interact with tools in a very basic way. So let's get into it. When you followed the last video, you were left off with the almost empty n8n interface with the demo workflow. And in order to follow this video, we need to make one little addition here. So when you are at the workflow page and you go for credentials, we had these credentials already pre-installed with the AI starter kit from n8n. And in order to use the Postgres chat memory, we will need another credential here. So we just go for add credential, and then we enter Postgres and go for continue. And now we need these values here. And as I said in the first video, Postgres is part of the n8n AI starter kit, and therefore we can just have a look at our code repo here. In our self-hosted AI starter kit, we have a .env file, which is an environment file, and this file holds our default credentials for the AI starter kit. So all the data we need to set up the credential in n8n are here. Here we have our Postgres user, which is root, our Postgres password, which is just password, and the Postgres DB, that is n8n. And when I head back to the interface, first of all, I need to change the host, and the host will just be the name of the service that is defined in the Docker Compose file. So we just refer to the host as Postgres. For the database, we just use n8n. For the user, we take root, and for the password, we just take password. And then we can just save the credentials, and you can see that the connection to the Postgres server was successful. Another thing I would quickly like to talk about is how to get models for your Ollama instance. So you can just go to ollama.com. Up here you have a search box where you can search for models, or you can just search for view all. And here you have a list of different large language models you can download and run on your computer. And for the purposes of this video series, and as we are building an AI agent, we need a large language model that is able to work with tools. So we can just select tools up here. And now you can see the list got sorted by models that are able to use tools. And when you have installed the AI starter kit the first time, this will pull Llama 3.2 automatically. So you will have at least one model that you can work with for now. If you want to install a different model, let's say we wanted to install Llama 3.1, you can just go to the details page, and here you have the run command for Ollama. Here you can select the size of the model and how many parameters it should have. So you can see there's a 8 billion, a 70 billion, and a 405 billion parameters. And here you can see the sizes of the model. And you can see the large one is 229 gigabytes, and that's really quite a lot. One thing you have to be aware of is when you download a model and you want to use it on your computer, the model has to fit into the memory. And that applies for the GPU or the CPU. So that means when you have a computer with 16 gigabyte of RAM and you want to run the 70 billion parameter model and you use Ollama in CPU mode, this will not work because you don't have enough memory. And for GPUs, that will be the same. You need to have enough VRAM to run the model. And when you switch between the models here, you can also see the command switching here. And I will just quickly copy this. And then I go to my terminal. And in order to make Ollama pull the model I want to, I need to tell Docker to execute a certain command in the Ollama container. The command is very easy. And that is just Docker and then exec for execute. And then you give the container name, which is Ollama in this example. And then you give it the command name, which is also Ollama. And when I execute this, you can see that I get the terminal output from the Ollama command. And if I want to run one of the subcommands, I can just enter the list command, for example. And of course, my list is empty here in this case. And that's basically how you can interact with the Ollama commands. What you can also do when you have a model installed, which I do not have now on the container, is you can run the model. And that allows you to chat with the model in the terminal. And in order to download a model here, we just need to execute docker exec and then the container name Ollama and the command Ollama, and then pull, and then the model name, and then comes a colon and the number of parameters here. So when I execute this, it will start to download the manifest here, and afterwards it will download the model, and then it will be available for us to use in Ollama and also in Init. And now that we got some basics out of the way, we can start building our AI agent. So I am in a new workflow now, and I have named my workflow Basic AI Agent. And now I can just add a first step and just search for AI and select the AI agent. And I won't go too deep into details today because we will do that in later videos. My goal for this video is to get a very simple AI agent with some tools up and running here. So for now, we can just leave our tools agent on the default settings here. And now you can see we have some nodes around here. And for example, at first we need a chat model we can talk to with our agent. And here we have our Ollama account that's already set up when you install the starter kit. And down here, you can select one of the models you have downloaded. And in my case, I will just leave it at Llama 3.2. For the memory, the window buffer memory would be enough in this case because this is just a small example, but usually I would just take the Postgres chat memory. And here you can see up here, you just select the Postgres account we have just set up. And this can also be default. So the session ID will be set up automatically. And here you can define the name of the table that the conversations should have in the database. And here you can define how many past interactions are sent to the model when sending over new queries here. I will just leave that all at the default values here and just move this a little bit around. And now we can just start giving it the first tools. And I will start with the Baserow tool here. And in order to interact with Baserow, you need to have a running Baserow instance, or you have to use a free cloud account in Baserow. And when you are logged into your Baserow instance, you just have to create a simple database here. And I have just two tables created, one for tasks and one for calendar. And you can see the structure is not very sophisticated. So on tasks, I have a title, I have some notes, a due date, and active checkbox. And on the calendar, I have the meeting title, the notes, the date, and whether the meeting is confirmed or not. And with this, when we go back to initn and double click the node here, you will at first need to set up your Baserow account. I have already set this up, but we can just play it through in case you need to set up a new credential. So you can just go to create new credential. And when you're using the cloud Baserow, you can just leave the host as it is, and then you give it your username and your password. In my case, I am running my own instance, and I also give it just my username and my password, and then we will be good to go. And then you just select the database you have created for your agent and select the table. And in this case, I'll use the tasks table here for the first tool. And up here, we can set a description, and that is meant to describe the tool for the agent. So for now, I will just put in a very general description here for our agent. And now I can close this and rename this to Baserow tasks. And now I can just start chatting with the agent. So I just open the chat window and ask for a list of my tasks. And now you can see that the agent has responded, and it also recognized that task number 4 does not have a due date here. So when I head back to my Baserow database, you can see here I got the exact same tasks here, and the agent was able to use the Baserow tool and to fetch the relevant data here and to actually make sense out of the response from Baserow to answer my question. And over here at the right side, you will always have a log, and you can have a look what happened with your most recent message here. And I can do the same for appointments here. So I just duplicate this here and check for calendar here and just edit the description here so the agent knows what to use this tool for. And then I can just connect it here. And now I can just ask for a list of my appointments here. Now you can see I get back my appointments from Baserow here. And I could also ask for the unconfirmed appointments here. You can see the LLM was able to figure out that I have one appointment that is not confirmed, and it gave me the correct answer. And the last basic tool we will be setting up is we will call another n8n workflow here, and I don't know, I just call this the YouTube tool because that is the first tool we will be building here in the next couple of videos, and just save it for now. And then I will just create a YouTube tool workflow here. For now, we will just keep it very, very simple. So we just select a trigger when called from another workflow, because that's basically what we're doing here. Our tool agents from the other workflow will call this workflow to get the information he needs. I will just create a set node here, make this a JSON response, and I want to be able to ask the agent about my latest video. So I will just have a structured JSON response here, and I will have a response object, and this will have a title and a description. And that's good enough for our YouTube tool for now. And when we head back to our AI agent, we can just select the workflow from the list here. And down here we have field to return. And this is by default set to response. And that's actually the reason why I have created this JSON response object. So these two need to match. And also for this tool, I need to give a description. And this is also just a simple instruction for a demo now. Use this tool to get an information on videos that have been uploaded to the user's YouTube channel. And now I will just save my workflow here and go to the chat again. And now I can just ask the AI agent about the last video that was uploaded to my YouTube channel. And you can see it was able to use the YouTube tool here and got the answer back. And of course, we made the YouTube tool to give a static answer. That is something we need to build in this video series. So we will go into detail on how to build tools and how to create powerful workflows the agents are able to use then. And when we have a look here, you can see here we got the chat memory, we got the Ollama interaction. And here we have our tool calling. And you can see that the agent has sent over a query to the n8n workflow. When we have a look at the YouTube tool into executions here and double click this, you can see here the query was just last video. And on this query last video, we responded statically with the information. And that is also something we will learn in this video series, because it is possible to make the AI agent to send over precise queries that can be effectively used in a workflow. And this will allow for interactions with any kind of API and so on and so forth. So that's it for this video. And this was meant to give you a short overview and a broader perspective on how these things are working. And I hope I could also show you that it's not as complicated as it seems at the first glance. So I will hopefully see you in one of the next videos. Until then, have a good time. Bye bye.